So you can use the USSD code *671# but you can also download our app from the App Store or the Play Store. Mobile, and then you search for your country, which is Nigeria, and you set up your mobile account on your phone using the app. And for the first time, let's do our until 1. Your everyday transaction value is 50,000, and you can hold up to 300,000 in your account or your wallet. And once you provide us with a BVN, you are able to upgrade into tier 2, where you are able to do 200,000 daily and 500,000 in terms of your balance. And then for those who want to do more, you provide us with your ID and your means of address, which could be your utility bill or anything, and we upgrade it to a regular bank account where you can do your transactions as though it was a regular account. Then for the micro, small and medium enterprises, we have our business accounts as well, and depending on the size of your business, we have a solution for you. So we have solutions for micro merchants, we have solutions for the nano merchants, and then we have solutions for the medium and large enterprises or merchants as well. And we provide tailored solutions, so we don't just offer broad-based solutions. Depending on your business needs, we are able to provide solutions that will address your specific payment problems. Apart from that, because we are a technology company, we also offer other technological solutions as well, which will offer you connectivity of your business to other businesses so that you can interact as well. And in the process, we also do offer financial literacy training for our micro, medium, and small enterprises to be able to bring them up to the level of managing the operations efficiently in keeping to the standards that are required in terms of bookkeeping, data management, and the likes. And we are able to partner to provide additional services to enterprises of that nature who do businesses with other institutions as well. At the moment, in terms of our service portfolio, I've mentioned for your time the payment solutions and smart solutions that we offer, and we also are in the process of completing our remittance program, which will allow you to receive remittances from your principals if you work with businesses across the African continent. So if you have a partner in Uganda, or you have a partner in Cameroon, or you have a partner in Ghana, very soon you'll be able to use our platform to do payments to these partners for businesses or receive payment from them for goods and services. And along the lines of the same conversation, we'll be partnering traditional banks to also offer small and micro loans that will also give you some boost in your operation. So there's a lot of opportunity to work with us, and not just work with us in the main cities of Lagos, but also work with us in the rural communities, because the businesses are set up and we have presence in every location to provide solutions and tailored programs to support your needs. And so we encourage you to connect with us. I already have discussed with my good friend Dr. Abdul-Rashid, and that will be having fair engagement on how we can engage to understand your specific needs and how we can support you, providing training and financial solutions to support your work and the business you do. And so we'll be looking forward to that engagement. I would just want to highlight the fact that the fintech industry is fast growing in this country, and there are a lot of opportunities that we bring from that industry to drive financial inclusion. And therefore, our role is to support your operations, and we will do that by providing sustainable solutions and programs for you to drive your business operations and sustainability. On this note, I want to say a big thank you for your attention and to wish you all the best in the deliberations. I believe that we should have conclusions that will help to drive your businesses in the right way and to provide sustainable support for you in your everyday operations. Thank you very much.
Is another round of applause for Mr. Gili. You see why I say I love money. I like money, and I like to see people who are in charge of money to be very close to me. So Mr. Gili, forthwith, you're officially my friend. Whether you like it or not, money is my friend, and those who give money should naturally be my friend. So you're welcome. Thank you very much for that wonderful presentation, and I'm sure there will be people who are very eager with questions and clarifications about the global PSB. So by the time we get to the fireside, please you will oblige us your time to take some questions from the moderator as well as from members of the audience here. For those who are online, we thank you for joining. If you have questions, please just put them on the tags there, and we'll have answers for you already available when the speakers come forth. Now, this is the big fish in the hall and a big brother to the MSMEs. They've been around, they've supported the members of the Association of Small and Medium Enterprises. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce to you the Bank of Industry. Please clap for them. They are now members of the managing committee. And since the representative is here, and the MD is in Abuja right now for that meeting, there are whispers that will be coming across board. So it's better you become a friend of this man before he leaves this place. It's in your own interest to know those whom you can call when the palliative is available. They will tell you the address of the warehouse. They will tell you how many bags of rice you are entitled to and what part of the 5 million will reach your account. With this, please permit me to invite Mr. Osa Ogado. He's the head of MSME and the Bank of Industry to make the video presentation. Please, round of applause, Mr. Osa.
Thank you. Good morning once again. Let me apologize on behalf of the MD of the Bank of Industry, Mr. Olukaide Biton, who is unavoidably absent. As you heard from our friend, the MC, he left for Abuja this morning. As of last night, he actually wanted to be here this morning, but when the calls start coming in, he has to leave Abuja this morning to attend a very urgent meeting. So I've been asked to represent him. I am going to present his address. If there are errors in the paper, they are mine. Anything good in the paper, they are for him. So on the basis of that, I want to commence the address as follows. First, let me thank the organizers. It takes so much work thinking to put such a program together. And being fourth in the series, it means that they've done one, they've done the second one, they've done the third, and this is the fourth. So I want to thank Mr. J. of EFS, and of course the Vanguard Media Limited joining hands with both other and private sectors and government agencies to put a committee together to think of how we can address some of our challenges in Nigeria and look for solutions, working together in collaboration, because it's very clear now and more than ever before that no one person have all the solutions. We need to work together, we need to collaborate, we need to share ideas and think of solutions working together. The MSME space is very, very large and it plays significant roles as engines of socio-economic transformation and contributes between 40 to 55% of GDP and 50 to 80% of it in most economies. This is coming from the World Bank study. So it's not only Nigeria where MSME plays a major role. If you go to India, if you go to China, if you go to Canada, if you go to some other African countries, MSMEs plays a major role. They possess great potentials for employment generation, improvement in labor technology, economic diversification, development of digital entrepreneurship and wealth. Globally, there is an increasing focus on ways to exploit the potentials of financial innovations and embedding digital finance technologies, particularly activities of financial technology companies, popularly referred to as fintechs, are quickly transforming how MSMEs can access finance with innovative digital platforms, providing alternative funding sources. So fintech is only trying to provide competition to the traditional ways of seeking funding for your business. Even though we are the players in the industry, but we welcome such alternative. Why do we welcome such alternative? The country is so large. We are more than 200 million people. So the traditional institutions, traditional banks cannot really meet the requirements and expectations of that 200 million people. This to create fintechs, PSBs, other agencies, all providing different support services to address that large number is highly welcomed. So we are happy. It will serve as competition, it will alter the way things are done traditionally, and at the end of the day, all the players in the market will better off for it. Customers will have better service, all expectations may be addressed and met faster and better, so that the entire ecosystem benefit from this alternative window that is opening up. So even though it's competition to us, we are very excited and we're ready to work with all the fintechs to ensure we're going to support the country. According to Similar data, quoting 2022 report, there are 39.7 million MSMEs in Nigeria. Of that number, 39.7 are SMEs, while 38 million are micro enterprises, i.e. 1.2 million of that MSMEs. Majority of which are actually micro, 38.4 million. So what it means, if you manage that subsector very well, and let's assume each of those micro enterprises employs one additional person, that is employing additional 38 million people out of the job market. People are looking for a job. If you can absorb 38 million today, the government will be very excited. The government program is to see how they can employ 10 million. So MSME is alone without 38 million. If each MSME employ one person, we have created jobs for 38.4 million people. So it's very critical mass, and we need to look at that sector. Thus, the narrative of MSME support in Nigeria is predominantly one that should consider micro businesses, sole enterprises, and of course the informal sector. What we refer to as the narrow subsector within the space. MSMEs face challenges that have hampered their ability to expand and improve their output. Key challenges include difficulty in accessing finance, challenging operating environment, infrastructural issues, depth of business and technical knowledge, by most enterprises, etc. Of these challenges, difficulty in accessing finance has been identified as one of the greatest challenges facing MSMEs. Do we agree? You agree?
Yes.
So that means that we can focus on how to create solution to that subsector. Accessing finance is particularly difficult for Nigerian MSMEs. Why? One, they are highly unstructured nature of the MSMEs. They are not structured at all. Almost 90% of them are informal. High interest rates, long and tedious administrative processes, poor bookkeeping. Most nano businesses and enterprises, they don't keep records. So it's difficult for a third party, a financial institution, to actually look at what you can look at your historical records because you're not keeping a record. So we need to keep our records. Lack of credit history. Some of them borrow from parents, borrow from their husband, borrow from their wives, borrow from friends and their schoolmates, but they don't keep those records. So even though you borrow from last summer, but there's no record to say you have for somebody who want to need that money and the money will flow back. Because a man, by definition, does not use his own resources to do business. When a commercial bank open their doors, you go there to put your savings, you go there to open a current account. The understanding that at any point in time as a saver, you go to the bank to collect your money, the money is available. But because everybody will not come at the same time to collect that money, the bank has a leverage to lend that money before you come for yours. So lending it is understanding that the money will also flow back. So if it's your lend and does not come back, then the problem for depositors and people have money in the banks. So it's important to keep our records. Of course, issues of insufficient collateral and guarantees, lack of banking loan applications, and of course, the overall issue that a lot of organizations are unaware of the different sets of funds available and how to access them. And that is why this program is very, very important. Some of our challenges have to do with knowledge. We don't know what the PSBs can offer. We don't know what bank of industry can offer. We don't know what the commercial banks can offer. We don't know what the microfinance bank can offer and how you can access them in terms of their requirements. Because each of the institutions have a requirement. So if you want to access money from BOF, for instance, I expect you to do a little homework. Ask me what are your requirements and make it available to you. You go and study it and you do a tick. What you have now, what you don't have, you prepare and get ready. The same thing for commercial bank, the same thing for home agents. They have a requirement. If you don't know the requirements, you can't onboard as an agent. So first of all, ask questions. What do you want me to do to get in? Then when I give value to you, you go back and put it together before you apply. Digitalization, how can MSME benefit? The COVID-19 crisis and the rising prominence of e-commerce have accelerated the digitalization of many MSMEs and fostered their participation in digital ecosystem and marketplace. Increased reach and visibility of new customers and markets, improve efficiency and productivity, reduce cost of transforming tasks, and eliminate paperwork and streamlining processes. These are issues that come with digital way of doing things. The traditional way of carrying paper around is far going. It's still there, but it's actually going. A lot of things are done digitally, and MSMEs must embrace it because that's the way for the future. The traditional way of doing things is changing. So whether it's still there, but over time, we are moving to the digital way, and it's better now for people to adapt and understand what is happening. Alternative financing. This is the crux of why we are here. So I'm going to spend some time look at the various alternatives that are available, which you can key in. The first is asset financing. Asset refinancing, where the business uses a valuable balance sheet item as security for a business loan, e.g. plant and machineries. So you have a shop or you have a manufacturing plant for which you have equipment there. Those equipment you bought them with money, they have a value. You can use that to leverage lending by pledging those assets to a financial institution for which they cannot give you money to expand or buy other items or buy raw materials. Another alternative is hire purchase, in which case you don't have the money in the world, but you want to buy the item. You want to start using that asset now. So the business can accept the equipment they need. You don't have the time money, you just pay a deposit under a hire purchase agreement. So with that, you can start using that asset. In the transport sector, they use that a lot. Some of these Okada riders, some of these transporters, when you see the driving private cars, it does not belong to the 100%. They have some agreement where they can pay some deposits and the asset is given to them to use to run their business, and they pay back for revenue generated in using that asset. So it's a way to seek funding for your business. Equipment leasing. Leasing is another big area which so many MSMEs are not considering. You do not have to own the asset 100%. So you need a generator who tells you you must buy it and put it in your books as an asset. You can lease it. When you lease it, you pay a little rentals on a monthly basis, but you have the asset in your books. And there are two ways that can be done: either you operating lease or finance lease. So I need a generator. The generator costs 3 million. I don't have cash to pay 3 million, but I have maybe 500,000. So you go to a leasing company, they give you a generator, you make an deposit. They agree to repay it within 4 years period. Then every month you pay rentals periodically. Meanwhile, you already have assets and you are using it to drive your operation. Another way is crowdfunding. For instance, now many of us are pregnant. If I say I need to do a business and I need $1 million and I can provide a very compelling case, I can set up a crowdfunding agency where you can make huge contribution to achieve that $1 million, so that we can share an objective. Then when the return comes, we can share that return. That's crowdfunding. So fragmented funding, participate. You can bring 100,000, you can bring 10,000, you can bring 5,000. It accumulates. All that is crowdfunding arrangements. It's not very. We're not using much in Nigeria today, but it's well used in America and Canada and most of the developed European countries. But it's coming because already there are signals around in the market where this can be used to drive MSMEs operation. The critical is crowdfunding is objective. If you can have a very good business case, people will buy into it, and integrity and character. It's not as if we can put money in this and no, we will not support you. So integrity, character is very critical for crowdfunding to work. Another option is invoice financing, where you have your invoices. Either somebody is owing you and not paying you, or you somebody is not paying. They can be agents who will come to buy that invoice and give you liquidity. So somebody is owing you 100,000, 200,000. The guy has not paid. Somebody can come to you and say, you know what, this is your invoice, I want to discount it. So instead of you expect to get 100,000, I give you 80,000 now, and then I will wait and collect the money from the person who is owing you. There are several options available in financing. And if I did that, for you have the 80,000. So you continue your operation. For the person who then wait and get 100,000 later date. So it brings liquidity to your business, and you are going to run your operation without having to go to a bank to borrow money. Yes, another way is bridging financing. Bridging, you have a gap to fund. How do you quickly do that? Without going to a bank. Banks can arrange a short-term loan, 90 days, 180 days loan to bridge financing. So it's a short-term loan just to cover the gap before the real money comes in. Another window is revolving credit facility, where you have a line of credit from a customer and from a bank or financial institution, and it can be reinstated. So you can run it in buckets of maybe 90 days or 180 days or 1 year, but at the end of the 1 period, based on certified performance, is reinstated for you to use that money again. There are also options like portion order financing, warehouse financing, securitization, green finance. This is a new one, green finance, because the whole world is thinking of environment. People want to use solar plants to run their businesses. People want to use biomass. People want to use solar vehicles, electric vehicles, popularly called EVs. All these are to support the environment. Instead of using diesel, people want to use electric vehicles. That's the direction, and there are finance available if you are running through this option, and this kind of asset that you want to run your operations. What are the roles of fintechs in alternative financing and credit lending for MSMEs? One of the main areas where fintech has made significant progress is in digital payment space, which the MD of Momo PSB clearly said in his short address. They've actually played so much in that space that even banks, will not have moved that fast. But they came in to cover a gap, and they are playing very, very well the digital payment space. So mobile money services such as Pada, Flutterwave, OPay, MoneyPoint, etc. have made it easier for people and MSMEs to send and receive money and pay for goods and services using their mobile phones and point of sale terminals and machines, which the MD of Momo PSB clearly said earlier. These services have been particularly beneficial for MSMEs, which payments for customers due to lack of formal payment infrastructure. Digital payment platforms serve as data providers on MSME's financial profiles, capable of revolutionizing lending in Nigeria. Why? Because of low agent costs, assisted transactions, and other financial products and services provided by traditional financial institutions. Another area where fintech has made progress is digital lending. Fintech startups such as PayLater, Carbon, etc. have developed alternative lending models that use alternative data sources such as social media and mobile phone usage to access creditworthiness. Incidentally, Carbon is one of our customers, because what we've done in the bank is also look at the market is changing. If we stick to the traditional way of lending using the BY model to say what we process, sell only those into manufacturing and those into value creation, we may lose a big shot on the market space. So what we've done, the online scheme, where we can lend trust in the market space for them to retain that lending to other people. So Carbon forced on it. In fact, as Momo players was talking, I said, I have another customer here. Because I'm sure from his lending space, that your package you're looking at, we can actually give you online scheme. We can give a whole lot of money. 2 billion, 3 billion, 5 billion for you to then retail using your network to MSMEs across Africa. Other platforms include peer-to-peer lending, crowdfunding, and as I said earlier, digital banking have disrupted the traditional banking models and made it easier for MSMEs to access financing. An example, CarryWise, a digital investment platform, now allows users to save and invest money at the same time. I will now talk about government policies. What has government done to support the digital space? Below are government policies supporting MSMEs in adopting digital technology and competing in the global economy. 1. The National Digital Economy Policy and Strategy. This outlines the objectives and priorities in terms of promoting digital innovation and entrepreneurship towards making Nigeria a digital economy by 2030. This includes a number of initiatives to support digitalization of MSMEs, such as providing access to finance, training, and infrastructure. The second one is the National Broadband Plan 2020-2025. This aims at providing broadband internet access to 70% of Nigerians by 2025. This will make it easier for MSMEs to connect to the internet and use digital technologies, because the global world runs on the internet. So if your community don't have internet access, you actually cut off from the world. So if this initiative is driven properly, it means that in our rural communities, you can get on net. You don't need to come to Lagos. You can do what you want to do in Lagos, in your village, because of the global internet access. Then of course, the Nigerian Startup Act introduced last year, it was sent to last year. Okay, that act provides a legal framework for startups in Nigeria. This includes provision of support for digitalization of startups, such as tax breaks and access to government funding. The revised National Financial Inclusion Strategy, adopted by CBN in 2012, towards increasing access to youth tools and business of quality and affordable financial services, as well as achieving its 95% financial inclusion target by 2024. Clearly, what the CBN has done through the CBN capital policy, is to push people to look at alternative instead of what's free of cash. So this redirect our ways, leave the traditional way things where it's all cash and checks and other instruments to now embrace digital instruments. And I think we are moving little by little, even though we are not 100% there yet. A few recommendations to support MSMEs and startups. One, to establish a conducive regulatory environment that encourages innovation and entrepreneurship in the finance sector by simplifying the licensing process of new financial fintech firms and providing clear guidelines on regulatory compliance. I'm sure with the experience of PSBs, they can engage regulators and offer some suggestions on what can be done to improve the space. And I'm sure regulators will be ready to listen. That is what we mean by conducive environment. Regulators should listen to operators, and operators should listen to regulators so that they work together. Because ultimately, the objective is to support MSMEs. Improving the credit information infrastructure and bureau coverage to address information asymmetries and increase transparency in the market. This will reduce perceived risk by investors and financing costs, which are typically higher for SMEs than for large firms. Incentivize the usage of alternate financing methods by providing tax breaks or grants to MSMEs, i.e., those who embrace these new abilities. Support them by maybe give them tax breaks. And if you use this mode of payment, if you are paying of this way, you don't pay tax for now 2-3 years. It will compel people to move on to that digital platform, or you reduce the tax rates just to support their businesses. Invest in financial education program, just like what we are doing now. We need to create awareness. And MSMEs, please, we must read. You cannot run business without knowledge. The two go together. So if you committed to run a business, you must be committed to constant reading. You need to challenge yourself and read every day. Go to the internet, any issue or concern, Google it and read about it. Ask questions. Be part of the organized sector, make inquiries. Knock the door. Knock, to knock, it's open. It's a long journey, but once you start, you start. You can't go back. If you must succeed, you must stay there and do what you need to succeed. Promote digital financial literacy skills, particularly among most vulnerable segments like women, the children. Let them be aware of the way things are happening and the new ways of doing business. Encouraging financial institutions to leverage digital technologies in support of MSME finance, including fintech companies as accredited lenders. Use of alternative data and credit assessment methodologies for credit decisions. E-invoicing, e-factoring, and supply chain financing. Now, with digitalization, everybody I believe has a BDM. Everybody I believe has a phone. So, in assessing credit in the future, the traditional way of saying bring CAC records, bring your bank statement, bring your audited financials are all moving away. Especially for the micro space. What I need to do, if I have your telephone number, I can access how much you spend on telephone. I can access your turnover, how much you spend, how much you account periodically. And on the basis of that, I can take a decision like, oh, based on what you have done in the last 6 months, from the look available to me, I can give you 500,000. You will repay. Because I have studied the data. So data is very important. That is why the telecom companies, they have more data than even the banks. Everybody in Nigeria has a phone, either MTN or V-Mobile or Airtel or Nine Mobile, they have the data. And if you go to that data, I can tell you how much you spend every month in the last 1 year on telephone. And I can take a decision based on that because you are not borrowing money to buy your airtime. Even when you borrow, you will back quickly. So digitalization means that you can actually access the credit without having a core assets. I don't look at the flow and the based on that I can use the projections and tell you how much I give to you. I will then come home to conclude my presentation. BOI. What are we doing to support the MSMEs and also the digital space? you as a bank, as you know, we are the oldest DFI in Nigeria. We established in 1959, so we are about 64 years old. You know, with the objective of providing, supporting the micro space, the medium space, and large enterprises through the provision of finance and agri services. Our financing are actually below market rate financing because we offer longer tenors. So if you like different foreign or bank industry, we are going to charge 10% per annum for 5 years, which is cheaper than the traditional commercial banking funding. Okay? And we also offer advisories, work with you. We don't abandon you because it's your business. It's our business. Because at the back of our mind is that as we support you, you employ 1 or 2 persons. When you employ 1 or 2 persons, you are helping the country address your employment challenge. You are helping the government in the state where your place is located to generate internal revenue for the run their service and operations. You are also helping our country to address insecurity because the man who is employed will not be thinking of what to do illegally. So that is how we push it. So our rates are low, but the objective is clear. We believe that if we create more jobs for our people, we support entrepreneurship, we build to support skill development, the country GDP will increase. And if it increases, all of us will be better off. That's why our rates are lower. I will give up to 5 years. In addition to that, we also give a moratorium period where within that period, we don't expect to repay by the principal. You basically pay interest, you send the facility already given to you. So while the bank to banquets, if you need support business, if you want to do of financing to support an expansion in your current operation. And even for startup, please feel free to visit BOI in any of our 32 locations across the federation. You can also go to the website to see the array of services that the bank site is www.boi.ng. www.boi.ng. If you go there, you will see a whole lot of information about the bank and what we are doing to support the MSME space. My colleagues are here, so I'm sure we'll be ready to take questions as we proceed. On the basis of this, I want to thank the organizers and I wish all of us happy celebration. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Warren. I'm sure you will agree with me that if you are looking for money, you will find the right person. So I hope it's as simple as they've said it. You know, when you get to the police station, you will see the sign that bail is free. Until you become a suspect, that's when you know how free the bail is. So, he's also told us some things that we need to do. Get your house in order. You don't go with the scattered house asking for someone to come and rearrange it for you. They will only assist you if you show any sign of seriousness. So I want to thank Bank of Industry for this wonderful presentation. We will call on the regulator or policy maker. They've been telling us about the MSME program. So Dr. Fasoya, who is being represented by Dr. Buni Daoud, would make a presentation on behalf of SMEDA. SMEDA is Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria. I don't know whether I'm going to change your name to add the nano part of it. Please, a round of applause for SMEDA.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Permit me to stand in the existing protocols first, and then bring you our Director General, Dr. Ali Kasina's apology for not attending this year's event, this program. Last year we were here together, myself and him, and we talked a lot. And I was expecting that most of the things that we talked about last year will follow up on them this year. But good again, those on the panel are experts, which which I have met, some of them personally, and some I see the TV. I'm seeing them live right now. And then I know that what we're going to take away from here today will be much more than what we expected from last year. I enjoyed last year's event. I'm planning to enjoy this year's event. Why am I planning to enjoy this year's event? Because it is alternative source of funding for MSMEs that we'll be discussing here today. Good deliberation we're going to have, I promise you. And then I'm going to just tell you a few things about what we have indicating as SME. Part of the statistics, my friend Osals has given us most of the statistics about MSMEs in Nigeria. But one addition one thing I want to add to it is that 2 months ago, a lot of uncertainty happened within the space of MSME development, and that is because there was fuel subsidy removal. It shook the economy of the nation because it shook MSMEs. Last month, I read that some newspaper wrote that about 4 million businesses shut down. This gave us a lot of concern. And then it made us have, a rethink and re-strategize. I am sure that some of us are aware of some of the strategies that government is using at the moment. Before now, it was the red ocean strategy, which is the normal. But there's a blue ocean strategy right now, which means borderless form of thinking, of operation, of designing, of work. We need to be borderless. We need to just not box ourselves. I heard somebody say to me last month that we the norm of think outside of the box, right? But now let us think as if there's no box at all. A lot of issues with MSME development. We are putting up to the task. We are trying as much as possible to see the things that we can do, right. So last year, our DG mentioned part of the strategies we want to use to support MSMEs with shared facility center, and we have kicked off that arrangement this year. We are taking delivery of some equipment for packaging and branding in Lagos. We are going to install them at our Industrial Development Center in Ikorodu, so that MSMEs, big business owners or producers can go to that center and pay a token to package their products. These are part of the incentive the plans or strategies to help MSMEs to cushion the effect of this harsh economy and the fuel subsidy removal. So that's one point. Another point is that this shared facility center is not only for Lagos. It's about 7 industrial development centers around the nation. But of course, Lagos is very important, and we are looking at how we can even duplicate it or replicate it in some centers within Lagos, so that it is easier and accessible for MSMEs to operate. So this is also an alternative source of fund, if you agree with me. And we're also planning some other sources of funding for MSMEs so that it is easy for us to operate. One of them is to leverage on partnership with financial fintech companies, partnership with Equipment Leasing Association of Nigeria, where it is easier for MSMEs to lease equipment rather than purchase the equipment, or lease the equipment based on cooperative formation, or lease the equipment based on paying instrumentally for those equipments. And you will agree with me that this is also a form of alternative financing for MSMEs. So aside that, we are also seeing the opportunity of MSMEs undergoing what we call support for credit rating. Okay, so we're in partnership with some organizations outside of Nigeria to bring in expertise in grading MSMEs rather than credit rating. I know most banks, commercial banks, traditional banks, have their credit bureaus where they work, where they rate whatever submission of business plan for MSMEs or rate the owners of the business. But with this grading system, it is easier for us to understand how important MSMEs can get funding for their businesses. It happens in most of the countries around the world, developed countries that that we want to talk about. But we are taking cues from India and Pakistan, where if you submit your proposal for funding, rather than for you to be rejected outrightly, Sweden will stand in as guarantors for you, and then it is easy for you to get the funding, and then we will know how to follow up with the banks or the providers of the fund to make sure that you pay back. So based on this, again, we are also expecting that this will drive in some sort of foreign direct investment. Business owners, even abroad, that need some products of MSME owners in Nigeria will also want to uptake from the business owners when the credibility of that business is assured. So these are some of the things that we can talk about at the moment and see, and then intimate you that we're only not going to make policies, we're only also going to make some decisions or policies that will help you as business owners to have some sort of support from government, and then finally I'm going to say this: we are leveraging on ecosystem participation in SMEDA. We can't just make policies without your participation in deciding, those important things, interlinked things that are supposed to resonate in the policy documents. So, some of you already know that we're already gathering together. We're dividing it into two: the tech-enabled SMEs and the non-tech SMEs. It is intentional though, but of course we're going to transit those that are not tech into tech. But we want to try as much as possible to have some sort of engagement with you, not only to talk about challenges, but also to talk about how we can create solutions within that ecosystem. You will agree with me that ecosystem strategy is like a symbiotic relationship where challenge of one person within the ecosystem is like a product of another within the ecosystem, and we can provide solutions internally, and then those are the things that we can suggest to government to build policies around so that it can help all of us to have a robust ecosystem. So on this note, I want to thank everybody, and I wish us happy deliberations.
Thank you. That was from SMEDA. Okay, if we look at our programs, I'm sure we're already at the stage where we should be looking at panel discussions. And the focus is the role of alternative financing and digital payment, adoption of MSMEs and sustainability and competitiveness. We're going to have 5 discussions here. So at this point, I'm going to relocate Mr. Heaney, since he'll be coming back for fireside discussion. I will relocate Mr. Adekoya, who is our host, so they can return to the seats in front of us here. Please welcome us. I will call on all the ABE products randomly. You don't want to clap for randomly. Are you ready? What do you think you are welcome? All right. Mr. Stanley Jacob, Fintech Association of Nigeria. moderating from this point. And I'm going to just throw the questions around. The microphones are beside you, and all you need to do is to press the button a little harder. Once the thumbs go, please you are free to go. And a lot of MSMEs have this question. We've been talking about the credit register, the collateral register for a long time. And fintechs have gone out of their way to use phone records. They've gone out of their way to use maybe the credit bureaus to give access to credits to small businesses. People also have questioned the rationale for asking you to pay 24 or 30% for a 1 week credit. You know, these are issues that are on the corner. But as we speak to alternative financing, are they actually giving the desired impact, or just the fintechs are just cashing in on the vulnerabilities of these small businesses? I will take it from ladies first, right? I will call, okay, they've been very good at giving loans, but I don't know whether they are notorious for giving more week loans at 30%. But she will tell us about that. And you know, it didn't start today. Vanguard started a long time ago, metamorphosing over time. So you share this experience with us. That's the concern for those of us waiting for the terms and conditions that apply. And more recently, you see where people get pictures sent to your WhatsApp or phones that this person has HIV/AIDS, is about to die tomorrow, is a suspect on the road, is paying us, and then when you find out that representing 7,500, you send to 3,000 for that, and so on and so forth. So let's deal with these issues about alternative funding and privacy issues. And this short term that fintechs are being called out for.
Thank you very much. This is the one time when ladies first is not actually working out very well. So first of all, alternative finance or using alternative data points to lend is not dissociated or separate from responsible lending. Regardless of what data points anybody is using to lend, responsible lending should be a cornerstone for everybody. So there's multiple questions that you've asked. I'll try to answer them. Do we give short-term loans? Yes. So we have a wide range of credit products. Short-term loans, quick funds for a month, for 2 months, loans, business loans, like the whole gamut we give them. The driver for pricing for fintech companies or microfinance bank is risk. People price for risk. People price for cost of funds. If it costs me a high amount to get the money I'm going to lend to you, and if I lend that money out, 50% of the people I give the money to will default, I will price for that risk. So a driver of what you see, the high risk that we are seeing, is a reflection of the risk landscape that we are operating in. Now, as an SME or as somebody who's trying to access finance, you also want to get the money, right, at a rate that you can make profits from the loan after you've collected it. So I think where I want to take the conversation is, how do you make that different for yourself? How can small businesses manage their credit rating or manage their own businesses such that when you go get the finance, your risk profile is lower and you can access credit at a lower interest rate. And it comes down to what my very, very wonderful keynotes that you gave, sir, which is how your own credit structure, how your own business is structured, proper financial records. A lot of times we see people who come to us and small businesses are operating 7 different bank accounts. How do I access your ability to get credit from multiple bank accounts? I have to combine this. Did you send money to yourself, right? Or is this money that's coming in, right? sometimes we see people mix their business and personal funds, and it just makes it difficult to underwrite you. We also see a lot of people who believe that I've never taken a loan, they're actually proud of it. My father, my parents, my mother said lending is bad, but if you don't use credit, if you have no credit report, I think he talked about it as well. If you have no credit footprint, it's actually worse than if you have, and maybe you have a little bit of shaky repayment, because there is no information about you. And at that point in time, we have to assume that your risk is high, which is going to drive the price that you are going to get for your loan too, as well. And then using credit responsibly, take the loan, pay back. For most, if not all of the credit institutions that I know, on your first loan, you get price A. By the time you are coming back, after you've done well, subsequent prices are always low. You start to behave in a certain way that makes your credit information visible to the lender, and that shows that you use credit responsibly and your finances are structured properly. You get access to credit at a lower interest rate, and then you don't have to contend with the 30%.
Okay, let me come in here, because this is very important. You know, you alluded to the fact that sometimes accessing credit has to do with the risk. You see, when something becomes a recurring factor within an ecosystem or environment, you guys stick to the rules, right? People keep defaulting based on certain parameters you've created. And most MSMEs are defaulting in that direction. They allude to the fact that you tell someone, I can only give you for 14 days. We want to live here that when we come for the next summit, people will have something to go home with. So we want to be certain that those who play in this industry should give us some solutions, because over time you create a template that makes people default, but you are not the loser, because you charge these people 50% because of their risk portfolio. So if 50% default, you got the money, the principal and the interest for the 50% who are defaulted, and also for the money you recover from those who didn't default. So what do we do in this kind of scenario?
So I don't think that we are doing enough for small businesses entirely as a country. I think we are good with that. In fact, that's one of the reasons why we're here today. Right? As an entire industry, in terms of supporting small businesses, a big driver of our economy, we collectively are not doing enough. But everybody wants to do better. Smina wants to do better, POI, Renway, Fairway. That's why we're all in the industry. Now, let's talk about responsible lending, which is the first part that you talked about. Responsible lending, there's different facets to it. If I access your income and I know that you cannot afford to pay me back 100,000 naira plus interest, if I still give you that loan, I'm not being responsible. And that's why we have DTI markers that tell us, you can't lend more than 30% of somebody's income, because they also need to survive. As well. So there's different parts. There's the amount you give, there's the interest rate you give, there's DTI, there's repayment schedule. There's people who tell you, my business is so micro, money comes in every day, I want to pay weekly. There's weekly products for you. I want to pay monthly, I want to pay quarterly, because my money comes in bulk. I'm doing LPO, I don't want to pay, I get my money at once. So there's different products, and part of responsible lending is finding the right product for the business. Not just giving one product and expecting it to fit multiple audiences. And again, that's why I said he hit so much of the points when he was talking, because he talked about LPO financing, asset financing, business loan, and all of these have different use cases. What happens